welcome to Mind Your Business, a channel where we are in everybody's business. If you don't mind getting in people's business, you're on the right channel. Talking about current topics and gossip. So Keke said, you're not going to ignore me, Tisha. You are not going to ignore me, chick. And I'm going to chat your business right in front of everybody on the table. Even though I did have this meeting with you to say that, I'm not going to talk about your husband no more. Yeah. Well, going to talk my inclusive crew, let's talk about Love and Marriage Huntsville. Now, the recent episode, I only have a few comments to make, right? Let's start off with Maurice. Now, at one point when this show started, I thought Maurice was one of the better husbands. He just seemed nice. Him and Kimmy's my fave. So I was thinking, oh yeah, they're a good couple. And then, as the seasons progress, and since maybe last season, I have definitely been looking at Maurice with the side eye, as you could probably tell by some of my videos. But Maurice, what is your problem? I cannot believe the man is over here at the car dealership. First he says, I'm buying my car for Kimmy. So I was like, is it your car or is it Kimmy? Then he said later on to his brother that, it's a present for Kimmy. Nice. But it sounds to me that you're getting her this lovely car because you just want some pom-pom. This is what it sounds like. It sounds like you're looking for an exchange of services here and you're still not happy about this whole sex situation. Have you already, spoken to Marceau about? And I was actually glad that Marceau gave you decent advice and told you basically to fix up and use the example of your back pain for you to register that what you're doing is just unacceptable. Yeah, be supportive to your wife and stop harassing her for sex. Don't tell her it's in her head. Understand that she has gone through chemo. She's gone through a stressful time and maybe support her in that. Yes, you have needs, but seriously, sir, can you not take some Vaseline, go to the bathroom, sort yourself out? Enough's enough. Anyway, that in particular I found annoying, but I have to say, Marceau gave some decent advice to him at that point. Then you've got this whole Tisha and Marceau talking about issues. So she was talking about what happened with her website, the big faux pas that happened. It does sound like someone, whether it's Tisha or someone close to her, has basically copied and pasted the return policy that Stormy has for her business. Now, when she's talking to Marceau, I did notice how they definitely were both playing it down. Marceau was like, oh yeah, that's the web designer's fault, right? Yeah, let's just try and play this down because there's no way we need people to know that you might have copied this stuff. And really, they think they're slick by trying to blame the web designer because really, web designers do exactly that. They design the website, but you have to usually, provide the content as in, whatever you want them to read on the website. So you'll usually say, okay, this is what I want this page to say. This is what I want that page to say. So who is the person who gave them the information for the website? That is the person who is at fault. But it seems evident to me because if you look at Tisha's track record, she has been copying Mel, hence why last week I was saying I feel like they want to be the new power couple. But she's copied Mel and now she seems to be copying Stormy, which is not, doesn't seem a surprise to me. But, I'll say allegedly. But it doesn't seem that surprising. But they were talking about that, and obviously Marceau also brought up this whole someone putting in a complaint about them potentially gambling at one of their new event they were going to have, and so they had to cancel it. So that was unfortunate, but it is part of the business. So whilst he's saying he doesn't want his business associated with anything like that, which I get from a PR perspective, but these things can happen, so you have to prepare. This is why we have things like crisis communications. Anyway, so when the show started and it picked up with Mel and Keke, Keke passing on the gossip about this so-called affair with we don't know who because we just heard barking and horns in replacement of the name. She let it be known that, she hasn't really heard from Tisha. She did reach out to Tisha about trying to let her know what was going on. Tisha's meant to come around to her house, but she didn't come around to her house and she's not heard anything from her. So she wanted to let her know some of the information, but Tisha did call her because the guy who's spreading the information apparently got in touch with Tisha, and so Tisha's called her to say, what did he say to you or whatever, right? But at the barbecue, I thought it was hilarious because one, Keke's coming a bit late, but she's come in and she's come to say hello. You can see where her hubby or partner, whatever, he's gone to say hello. Tisha gets up and greets him, and then Keke comes over to greet Tisha, and Tisha ignores her and walks past her, and that's what I think really pissed off Keke, because Keke was like, oh, and she says it to whoever's listening, you know, oh, the shade, did you see the shade? And then she sits down next to Stormy and proceeds to let Stormy know all the business. Let me tell you what happened, because Stormy really didn't ask, and I was like, who told you to say this? Production maybe? Or is it a case of you're really pissed off that you got ignored, so you're like, right, enough's enough, forget what I said about not talking about husbands, I'm just going to just dish it all right now. But yes, of course she decides to, you know, let off all the info onto Stormy. Stormy's face was cracking me up, right? I just looked at it and she looks like, oh, what the hell? Like, she's just thinking, what the backside is going on and why am I in it? Because I really didn't plan to be in this stuff. And then, you know, you've got Tisha really trying to act on the other side, laughing and acting like she doesn't hear nothing. You've got Marcel sitting right opposite, acting like he can't hear what's going on. Had me cracking up. I'm like, you lot are really trying to ignore her and drown her out. So Keke got even more vexed and was like, right. She made me laugh when she actually snatched the card out of Stormy's hand and just flung it down. And then decided to tell, you know, Tisha about herself and flick the drink at her, dash it at her. The way it hit Tisha was absolutely accurate as hell. I said, Jesus. I was like, whoa, you know, there was no missing. I mean, you were drenched in that. But obviously, what made me laugh is that she stood up and was like, oh yeah, ignore that. And I said, shit. She really wanted to get your attention, and she got your attention. And obviously then you see the whole bit at the end where it looks like it's going to turn into another brawl, because you've got Marcel and his slick mouth talking about call the police and drug test her ass. I'm like, why do you have to go there, Marcel? Like, couldn't you just, you know, you've always got to be snarky and snidey. But anyway, we can see that it looks like they escort Keke off and out of the premises. But next week's looking interesting because we're going to hear maybe a bit more of their perspective. In terms of how I feel about it, from Tisha's perspective, I'd be feeling like, you know what, I wouldn't want this cousin around in my business doing all this. From Keke's perspective, I guess it's more of a case of, you know, she might feel slighted by Tisha because, you know, think about it. She was on this Crime Stoppers, and from what we could see, Tisha didn't seem like she had called her in that clip that they showed. She's talking about what happened, but she didn't say she's reached out to her, and that's her cousin, so she's not reached out to her. So I'm assuming from a cousin's perspective, she's feeling the way. And then she's tried to reach out to her about this whole cheating scandal because she's like upset, and she's like, yeah, she would rather team up with her cousin to beat Marcel's ass. But her cousin is not being receptive to anything she has to say. But we know that because, as I said before, when Melody or anybody tries to bring up her husband, she don't listen. And there is no receipts yet. That's also a point that we need to, you know, be quite clear on, is that there still is no receipts yet. We keep hearing these rumours, and, you know, when they say there's some smoke, there is some fire, like what Melody was saying, but we've not seen any proof. So until we see proof, what can you say? But I can see both angles to a degree, but part of me also feels like Tisha has been involved in a lot of mix-up in the show. Definitely was rubbing some salt in the wounds when it came to Mel and Martell and things like that. So I feel like you have to be careful of what kind of seeds you are sowing, because you never know what's going to come back to bite you. So that's what I feel like on that situation. Now, I'm not saying that Keke was right to do what she did, because she shouldn't have dashed the drink, but I also think Tisha didn't need to ignore her. If she had just said hello, kept it cordial, I don't think any of that would have happened. But I'll be watching and seeing what happens. What do you guys think of the show? Yes, so thanks for watching that. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, and hit that notification bell so you know when I am uploading some more of people's business. So until then, my nosy people, stay blessed.